FocusHipHop.com, biznitch.
What's up, baby? My name is OG Nick Marsh. This is Focus Hip Hop, and today I have a conversation with the one and only Anwar HighSign, formerly known as Hoslow. First of all, how are
Yeah,
you doing right now?
I'm doing better, man.
That's
It was
good.
it was a weird day, but
Um,
we here now.
hey, it'd be like that.
It's
So,
like that a lot. It's kind of weird.
it's always like that. Yeah, it's like that. It'd be like that all the time.
It's frequencies,
Um,
man.
yeah, but anyway, so yesterday I received something wonderful in the mail.
Ooh,
Boom. This
ooh.
is this is fire. This is like one of the nicest cassettes I've ever owned.
I appreciate that. I
I
take no
love the
credit for that.
yeah, so who
Quandary
okay,
designed
yeah.
all of that. I mean, we went, we all like went back and forth. Me, Quandary, and our guy Matt. He's sort of like our spiritual. He's like a Maceo without the DJing.
Mm,
We'll get into that, but yeah, like we all like chose and talked about it, but yeah, Quandary, he put that all the way together,
okay, yeah.
and it
This is
shows.
fire. This like the
You
actual
never
cassette too.
saw that in your whole life.
The actual cassette too is like really nice.
A bowl
Um
of frosted flakes. You never
yeah,
seen
that's
it
so cool.
in your whole life. I love
So
it.
this was released on Something Wonderful Records.
Yeah, it's like a something wonderful, high science society. Uh,
Okay,
like
is this
it's all of our thing
it's
mixed
a
together.
is
But
it
it's something wonderful's. It might be their inaugural release.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure if this was like the very first like major release on
I
Something
think it
Wonderful.
is. I think
That's
we do
awesome.
have. I think we did get the first. Yeah,
Cool.
that's two things. Soldier catching up.
So this for people who are like totally unfamiliar, this is Resin by The Fortunate Ones. The
Yes,
Fortunate Ones are Anwar Sign, who we have here, and the producer of the duo, Dr. Quandary, correct?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Um, so I was not really familiar with Dr. Quandary at all prior to hearing this new album, but from what I understand, you guys go way back, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Back to because he used to be a part of another like kind of boutique label situation, World Around. So that goes back to like maybe '09, 2010, like somewhere in there, like before In
Dang.
Case I Don't Make It days.
Uh-huh. So that's like around the time I was like just really getting into music.
Yeah, damn, really?
Yeah.
I'm about to
Um,
just agree with you, but, like, oh yeah, yeah. But then it clocked what you said. Yeah,
yeah, that's
tight.
cool.
That's dope, man.
And before I checked this album out, I went back and checked out a couple Hoslow releases. I checked out Fuck Hos Day and
Mm,
In Case I Don't Make It, I believe is the title of
yeah,
the yeah.
the album. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fuck How's Day was my first solo EP.
Yeah, it
I
was
was in a,
dope.
that's like my first like Hoslow release.
I like the whole thing, but the closing track in particular is like
Oh, all's fair.
I love that song, man. That's like I said it on I spoke about it on Patreon, but I said in the video that's I feel like that's one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, that
Wow.
song's
I
incredible.
hope that holds. That song was a real that song isn't fabricated.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
heavy song, but
yeah.
I felt it, you know? I felt it.
I
Um,
appreciate that, man.
yeah,
I appreciate that. I really wanted people to today I feel like it was a bit of oversharing, but
I get
like
that for sure.
I do appreciate like it affecting a actual human being and human beings who've heard it.
Yeah. I've definitely done my fair share of oversharing. So I know
Mm,
how that feels to some extent. Um but yeah, I actually think this resin is in my humble opinion the best release from as far as Anwar HighSign rapping. I think
yeah,
it's the best album. Um I was very
that's
impressed
tight.
by Dr. Quandary's production, and then this just the complete package, it's very cohesive, you know?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Quandary is ill because he's got a really atmospheric, like a really emotional style. Like it's really emotive. Like
mm,
has these strong hits in real specific parts, like your nostalgia and like your sense of longing and things like that. Not that he's like intentionally trying to do that, but just his ear for samples and music, that's what comes out. And then
mhm.
my raps are all like emotional. So,
Yeah,
it works.
it does
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
So I read the Bandcamp like blurb for the album, and I
Yeah.
believe it said the album was first conceived around 2018, like the idea for the
Yeah.
album.
Yeah, yo, it wasn't even gonna be this, our original idea for a record.
Hmm.
We had a different record. We had a whole different record that was much more like jovial. Like
Mm,
it was kind of leaning more toward inside jokes and just like, I guess, sort of
more lighthearted.
laughing, like, yeah, like m more with the intention, I guess, of laughing through the blues, kind of living in the camaraderie part.
Hmm.
And but what he was making didn't sound like that. Like in between that, he was making the stuff that would ultimately turn to resin.
Right.
And
Cool.
so he was, so one day I don't know if I'm jumping ahead of like how you
No,
wanted to
no, no, yeah.
open it up.
Um, so which I don't know if you'll remember, but is it sequenced in the order of like how it was created, or
Nah,
which song
nah.
came first?
The song that came first was Stay Warm.
Okay, that's one of my favorites for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
That
that was the first one.
someone on Discord, since it's we're talking
Shout
in
to my
December.
niggas on Discord.
Yeah. Someone on Discord was asking for like winter music, and
Yeah.
I sent Stay Warm.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
whole album will get you through winter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's all you need for this winter
It was
is
perfect.
the
And
Fortunate Ones
resin,
debut LP.
yes. Came out on Halloween,
It
and it has
did.
kind of a I was playing it on the sound system downstairs, and my sister was like, "This is scary." I think I
In a good
think
way though.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Nice.
I personally love music that, makes me feel any emotion really, but my sister's kind of like I can't really talk to her about music because she claims to not like music. It like it affects her on such an emotional level that it's too much for her, you know?
Feel that. I dig that.
Yeah.
Wow,
Um,
that's deep.
yeah. I've been trying to maybe not as hard as
Is
I should
she
have, but I want her to get more into music.
is she very empathic?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's empathetic towards people in her community. I'll say that. Like
Ah,
people that she connects with, you know.
yeah, yeah. I
Um,
feel that. That's interesting.
yeah, so when we spoke a little bit before this before the interview, before the whole conversation, I told you that I had kind of like spiritual slash philosophical experience with this album.
Yeah. I really
And
couldn't wait to hear about this. Like
so
this is
it's
like this is like an artist's dream right here to like hear about how this real how it really yeah, so continue. All right,
so as soon as I heard Thread,
yeah.
like this is the song where I don't know if you've seen that gif of like the person like transcending and like it looks like electricity flowing through their body and like you
Yeah.
see their brain.
I know what you're talking
I was like, oh
about.
shit. Like it all clicked when I heard that song. And I just started thinking about like ancestry, you know,
Mm,
and
yeah,
like how everything's connected. I was listening to a lot of Absol too when I listened to this album. And Absol has
absolutely.
a line where he's like, I don't know it verbatim, but he says something like, um, it's the song that comes right after Do Better on the album Herbert, where he says, we're the seamstresses, or I'm a string theorist, everything is connected and we're the seamstresses.
Hmm.
And
I know what you're talking about.
Thread, when I heard that, I was like, damn, like we're actually like I don't know if I'm in control or if I'm being controlled by like I imagine like how much of my life is orchestrated by
Mm,
the people who raised me, you know? Like puppet
hmm.
masters.
Yeah,
That's what I was
that is a
thinking about.
really interesting thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like as I get older, I find that the more the more I the more I like really actively try to avoid being like the things that I don't want to hate, you know, familially, sticking with family, the more I wind up sort of contorting into it anyway. And,
Exactly.
you know, like through that lens, it's like, uh, am I really, am I really making the decision, you know? But then, I mean, really, it's like yes and no, I guess, you know, to hop into that rabbit hole a little bit, because like you can only really make the decisions based on the framework that you have, you know? So like, say for instance, you know, you need to assemble a bike, but you've never seen a bike.
Mhm.
But you know, like maybe you've seen like some water wheels in your town, you know, and they're connected. And then you're like, okay, maybe like the two wheels connected by a thing, and you kind of approximate it. And it might be like a fucked up bike, but how could you have made a how could you have made a bike as we know it to begin with? Like you just don't have that level of information to extrapolate it into something in the world that way. But there's this sort of magical thinking around it that says that, like, oh, he'll figure that part out. But like, no, I'm gonna just be
Yeah.
stuck trying to like figure this, like trying to understand what a fucking bike is, you know? And in that way, like it's like, yeah, do we like what is choice? What is free will? What is it's kind of like not quite an illusion of choice because it's not insulting and it's like there is the capacity for change in our lives, you know, like we can learn
Mhm.
what the bike actually looks like and how it functions, and we can adjust our worldview to, you know, for that to include those things. And that way, like it's really hopeful and really cool. Like we can expand our choices and shit.
Mhm.
But like it does get to like a little like Bruce Lee mirror maze type shit, trying to like parse out what the real expansions to the choices are and look like, and the opportunities for growth look like sometimes can be really confusing. At least it has been for me at times.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tripping me out. As soon as I like had this thought, I was like, damn. Like who am I? You know?
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, that song's amazing. Thread,
Okay.
the closing verse in particular, when I heard that, I mentioned this in the review. Um, it seems, or it could be interpreted as a verse from the perspective of Adam talking about
Mm,
Eve.
yeah.
Was that like, did I just
No,
come up
that
with
was
that, or
so
was
int you did. That was fire. That was so interesting. I did not think about that at all. But I was like, yeah, that I mean it makes sense though. But like
that's awesome.
that's the beauty of it. Yeah, but that's an interesting perspective on it for sure.
That's cool. Yeah,
Like
I was really once I made that connection, I was like, damn, this song is so deep.
like like Thread, I don't even remember where I heard it, but it was one of those lingering thoughts that like it just sticks with you for some reason. Like
Hmm.
this idea that we're all connected by these invisible strings, and those strings and connections exist throughout time. And, like it was, that's kind of wild. Uh, and then like pulling that apart, pulling back the lens on that, it's like, yo, like I could have met someone that I've met thousands of times.
Yeah.
I could have met this person at the beginning of time and be connected to them, through a millennium of different faces and different bodies and different lifetimes and classes and everything.
That reminds me, this is random as hell, but I watched a Vsauce video and he mentioned something about this guy who ended up marrying this woman, and then they found an old picture from like his childhood, and she was in the photo, like in the background, or vice versa,
I
something
saw
like that.
that. I
Yeah,
saw that. The little girl he was in the background of her photo or vice versa or something like that. And then years later they
yeah,
got married. I saw that. That is exactly like what?
yeah.
Like,
It's crazy.
and then like more than that, like you guys amplified that it happened enough for it to be a thing, like that we could talk about, like, yo, these people. Like, how do
Yeah,
things like that, like, how does that occur? Like, like, surely coincidence, but then, still, like, it's kind of uncanny at a certain point to
yeah,
where
and
you got to
stuff
wonder. You got,
stuff like that, it
hold up, son.
scares
I'm
me.
moving and shaking real quick, son. Keep going, keep going.
No, you get stuff like that scares me because like the last time I was thinking so much about stuff like that, I was not doing well at all. Like
Oh,
I that was when that was when I was diagnosed with well, that was when I was going through my psychotic episode, and like every coincidence that I experienced at the time wasn't just a coincidence to me, you know? Like I was like, oh
oh,
shit.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Your
Yeah.
boy might be, your boy might have been experiencing an episode. I
For real.
don't know. You got
Yeah,
me thinking about it.
it's just like
Pardon me. I'm back.
I
I'm
get
back.
into periods where I'm like stuff just like keeps happening and I'm like, what the fuck, what is like God trying to tell me right now?
Right, but I mean, yeah, like that's a pretty good question.
Hmm.
Like because then we're essentially looking for the lesson, right?
Yeah.
And if we find it, then we can alter the circumstance. That's all this shit really is.
Yeah.
Like that's all like at least to me, it's all like any of these ideas are like any of these like ideas of frequency or ideas of, like it floats into religion as well and all types of spirituality, but ultimately it's kind of like fuck, crab stick. Like ultimately, we're just trying to um harmonize with something, harmonize with a frequency, so to speak. You
Hmm.
know, like whatever is resonating with us in a way that makes us feel our best and our highest version of ourselves. And like the filter that you put that through to arrive there is, your choice. Like it might be, for me, it might be, like I manifested through some manipulation of frequencies. And for you, it might be a more like religiously based spiritual journey. And for someone else, it might be a meditative journey. For someone else, it might be nihilistic and be nothing at all. It might be entirely self-contained. But like we are ultimately still trying, we're still, my Google keeps telling me that I have an interview with you. Um, but like ultimately, we're all groping for the same sense of harmony.
Hmm.
And like the differences, the apparatus, the differences that you using the NPC, he's using the SP 1200, she's
Yeah.
using, machine, like, but it's all the same
Koala.
shit for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, like but it's but like when you peel the layers back, it's a lightweight or high key, like the literally the same shit.
Yeah.
Like it's all one, we're all doing the same thing.
Yeah. It's um it's fun to think about, but if you think about it too much, then people will start calling you crazy and stuff.
They're gonna call you
Uh,
crazy anyway.
that's true. Yeah.
So you might as well have fun with it,
Yeah.
because like
So
when we look back, then they're gonna be like, "Yo, Nick was on some shit." Like 10 years later, when it clicks and it starts to make sense, like, "Oh, he wasn't." Then it's gonna be like, "Yo, I remember my man was saying, I thought he
mhm.
was tripping."
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um
dare to be different.
yeah. Um Track 2, Lacquer, Husk.
Ooh.
Um this one at the end of the song there's a clip of someone talking about how ever since they were a child their parents fed them bigotry supper. Um
Yeah,
is that something that you personally relate to?
not directly that part.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, like certainly insofar as like the apparatus that we exist in,
Hmm.
like I'm going like, all right, racial rant real quick. Like not rant, but tangent. Like
Hmm.
like the construct of racism is this thing that's so pervasive that like none of us get to exist outside of it, even if we think that we do. So like it affects us obviously as Black people a certain way. But even for white people, which, like Quandary is a white man, but his while his lens of racism is different and certainly not as aggressive as mine, it's gnarled what his world could have been without his knowledge of it being there. Before he ever understood that it was a thing, he was affected by the apparatus. He was born into a thing that he didn't have any, like he had to resist the prongs of that apparatus actively. And he continues to have to do that the way that I do, the way that you do. And certainly like obviously the different levels and different, but point being, like the bigotry part, so at least here, is something that's like exceptionally pervasive and insidious, and it changes, it disco balls off the forms, it's switching forms jutsu. So
Yeah.
yeah, like in that way. But in that clip, I more so relate to the part of like the defecting part. Like I would have defected to any team to get what I needed.
Right.
you know, to get what I needed intrinsically.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I feel
That's
like I'm the
actually my
same way.
favorite vocal clip on the album too.
Yeah,
Is that one.
that part was dope. Yeah, that part really resonated with me. And then track 3, I believe is Varnish Carcass. Is that the third one?
Yeah, let me pull it up
Yes.
too. Because I don't be knowing,
Yeah.
like the relationship, my like I have to sometimes disengage with a record for a while.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I when I'm like writing about stuff, I usually have a few different albums in rotation instead of just focusing all on one, because then it becomes, I don't know, it kind of takes the fun out when you're just relegated to one specific album, you know?
Yeah.
But
Track three is Lacquer.
oh, okay.
It's Lacquer. It's Husk.
Okay. Um that's the one we just talked about. Oh, is that the one with that's the one is that Donovan Days on that one?
No, that is a good friend of mine, Tim Day. My
Oh,
friend
okay.
Tim Day. Yeah, yeah.
I was wondering because
Uh,
it sounds similar to the Donovan Days feature on the Shrapnel album that
I haven't
was
heard it.
on Metal Lung.
Yeah, yeah.
Um just the
Yeah, no,
vocal style.
this person's been a good friend of mine for a long time, and it was just a good opportunity to. The Resin record sonically was different in a way that I felt me and my friend Tim could finally collaborate
Yeah,
on one of my records. Usually I pitch in on something that he does, but it was just a good opportunity to bring him into onto my side.
it sounded amazing. I really love,
Ah,
especially at the
thank you.
beginning. The beginning, I think I said in the review too, it sounds like what I would hear. It sounds like the soundtrack to Crossing the River Styx.
I could dig that. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to the homies crossing the river Styx. We gonna get you there safe. Yeah.
That's so cool. Tim Day, you said is his name?
Tim Day, yes,
Shout
sir.
out to Tim Day.
Yeah, I'll get you some links for Tim's music too.
Bet. Sounds good. Um, and then on Varnish Carcass, the one line that really stood out to me was I exist in a state of stress.
Yeah.
And I felt it. I was like, damn, like that's that's such a concise way of putting life into like the hardship of life into one line, you know?
Yeah, thank you, man. Like it it takes it takes such a long time of like toiling against it before you can kind of find some tools and begin to understand like what your focus should be on enough.
Hmm.
Like what's eating up your energy and your bandwidth more than it should be. And like ultimately like all of this, I don't get into those weeds, but ultimately all this worrying and worrying and zipping and flitting about is causing us to be in a constant state of chronic low grade stress.
Yeah, my psychiatrist told me my two triggers are stress and lack of sleep. And there's always going to be stress. So I
Yeah.
really need to make sure I'm getting enough sleep because
Yeah, for
like
sure.
that really that's what causes me to like, go over the edge.
Oh, I feel that. Yeah, stress
Um
is stress and sleep.
that's always
Salt,
those
pepper,
are yeah,
ketchup,
exactly.
mustard.
The yin and yang.
Yeah.
Um the next track I
Yo,
believe
shout out to you for being on top, advocating and being on top of your mental health, man. It's
oh
difficult.
yeah, yeah. I remember in uh in 2020 that was the last time we spoke directly. And
Yeah.
I was a psych major at the time. And the reason the reason I was a psych major at the time was mostly just because I was trying to figure out why I am the way I am, and
Ah,
I thought that that
I
would help.
I appreciate that drive personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's what this album and all of this is.
hmm
Yeah, for sure. Continue, please.
Um, so Sealant Shield, um, the bass on that track, that bass hits so it reminded me of Letter to Falon by Jay Electronica. The
Mm,
bass on that song, it gave me a similar feeling because like it sounds like cinematic. I can imagine being in like an amphitheater and just hearing that bass and like the whole room shakes, you know?
mm. Hopefully we get to experience that someday.
That would be fire. I look
Yeah.
forward to something like that.
I would love that.
And then I believe the next one is the interlude. What's the interlude called again?
Enamel.
Enamel.
Yeah,
Speaking of
enamel.
which, I did notice the pattern with the track titles where every title is kind of like a there's like glue, lacquer, wax.
Yeah.
What was the
These
yeah, resin. Yeah, so what was the inspiration behind that?
um when because Quandra named these he named these beats before he sent them to me.
Hmm.
And those first ones, it was like resin, glue. And I was like, okay, like once that concept of like connectedness came up and certain things like that, like kind of just kept creeping into the equation, and we decided to keep going with that theme, with those themes, and just keep exploring it.
Yeah, that's why I think Thread is such a great opener because it really frames the rest of the material on the project.
I appreciate that. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Um so I don't know how to pronounce this word. Is it epoxy?
Yeah. Yeah,
Epoxy.
epoxy.
So epoxy is definitely a top three song for me. Um
Love.
I love that beat. That beat sounds like I think I said this in the review too, but it makes me think of like a rainforest.
Oh,
Sounds like
I get
a
that. Yeah.
yeah, it sounds like a musical rainforest. And that song is just like I love the whole album, but that one so yeah, I could go on and on about like my favorite tracks, but yeah.
That
Um
one's excuse me, that one's a pretty personal one to me too.
mhm.
Because that's like that was about that song is to a real person, uh, wherever they may be. Hopefully they are well. But
Yeah.
yeah, like it just was like I guess at the time when I was making this record, like I was entering into what would be a really lonely season of
Mhm.
life, and it just, you could feel excuse me, you could feel just certain bonds slipping and certain roads diverging, paths and roads. Like, oh, I thought we were on the same road. Turns out we weren't. Like, you really are going this way, and I'm going, who knows. And yeah, like the person that the song is about was one of those people in my life that, uh, you have those folks sometimes that you feel that they perfectly understand you, and that you get this person and they get you, or at least it feels that way. And yeah, my brother that song is about was one of those people that's like, yo, this person, I could tell this person pretty much damn near anything, and they'll understand, they'll get it. Like, all right, they can relate. And yeah, like it's something that I don't feel every day. So yeah, it turned into a song because that relationship was very valuable to me.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely relate to uh just having that like type of special like oh shit, this person exists. Like there's someone like this out here, and it's like it's always exciting as hell when you meet someone like that, you know? Like you just click
Hell yeah.
immediately and you're like, damn, I cannot wait to get to know this person.
Hell yeah. It's like really
Um,
finding a brother or a sister or whatever
yeah.
that just like one of those. Y'all know the one I'm talking about. Like one of those that's like, ah, this person I can see being closely bonded. Like this is gonna be my partner forever until we're old. Like we're gonna be
Hmm.
old men still talking about this hip hop shit, the events of the day, the remember when, still having the philosophical questions and talking about science and all types of stupid,
Yeah.
uh, stupid shit, still sharing, titty and ass pics and shit.
Yeah.
Like still just like really being brothers and really being, or sisters or just really being family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are definitely like those are the type of relationships that keep me that make me keep going, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I believe Wax Naked is the ninth track. Uh,
That's no, that's seven. I got you. It's seven. We on
damn.
track seven. This is the one that you hate. You hate this
I
song.
I love every song. This is just like, I do least favorite and favorite for every album, so yeah,
I'm
but
just playing, man.
was there an additional vocalist on this track or was that you singing on those certain lines?
Yeah, that was me singing on
Oh,
that one.
damn. That sounded
Yeah.
really good.
Thank you, man. I did some singing on Lacquer too. Like Tim is the
Oh,
main
okay.
singer, and I did some of the backgrounds as well on
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah. That beat, man, it just had that type of vibe to it where that melody just worked so well. It just seemed like it was meant to. It was dope.
Mm.
I really like the structure of that one. That's one of my favorite songs on there.
Yeah, that song is really good. Um, so Laminate Can't Kill. This is the last one I want to talk about.
Nice.
So the line, I feel like this one also really um it's like I don't want to say it defines the record, but it puts the whole album in perspective to me.
Mm,
Um I'm Christ, study my life, I'm a threat, I'm a threat.
yeah.
This one connected back to I was like, is that a double entendre? Is he saying I'm a thread? I was like, is he saying I'm a
Oh,
thread? I'm a threat.
that's
Does
kind
that
of
connect
cool.
back to the first track?
Not intentionally, but probably. I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't consider that. Yeah. I could hear that though. That's pretty
Yeah.
ill.
I was so like, yeah, as I was because this was like this album was the soundtrack to my partial hospitalization program. So
Mm,
I was just thinking a lot about life in general as I was listening to this album.
yeah,
And I guess that's why I'm for a long time I've been um I don't know about atheist, but agnostic, I guess.
yeah,
And
yeah.
every time I go through like a really difficult time mentally is when I start thinking more about that type of stuff. And just like I'm sorry about my dog barking in the background, by the way. Um
Dog
yeah,
is welcome.
it was just I'm glad I had this album to sort of like keep me keep me thinking and not it didn't get to like thinking in a good way, like not
Yeah.
like it helped me to to be like, okay, like there is something here. I'm not crazy. I'm not like I'm not full of shit, you know?
Damn, it means a lot to hear you say that.
Yeah, I'm glad because like this album, it's definitely one of my favorites of the year. I think it's amazing. And the production and writing are incredible.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm just,
yeah,
I'm still with you with what you said a second ago. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Like,
yeah, man. These 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 albums, they really music is like what keeps me. It's like that. I forget who the guy was, but on the intro to The Heart Part Two by Kendrick Lamar, where
mm,
the guy's like, "What keeps you alive?" and then the guy says, "Music." I have to stay for that, basically. And
mm,
yeah, that's what if music wasn't here, like I don't know what I would have in life, you know? I
mm.
mean, I that's not to say I'm taking
I
everything else for
understand
granted.
that.
Yeah.
No, no, I totally get what you're saying. I understand that. Like it's just like I'm hearing it from you. Like I'm trying to connect back to that so that I can continue to love music in a like I really want to love music in a youthful way, like I did when I was, like a kid.
Mhm.
It's like trying to do it professionally or just even doing it as any type of doing it as a pursuit like this, like really makes it dangerous to like you can really destroy your love for it fast
Yeah.
and it can be irreparable. Hmm. So it's something that you have to be like really responsible with. And you don't learn about that responsibility necessarily until, like you might be fucked up. You might be in critical condition. So yeah, I'm just like really drinking in what you're saying because like this shit is helping people through things. But like a lot of artists, like we deal with all of this self-doubt and all this
Mhm.
like kind of like this level of worry that we don't understand is like kind of futile and silly until we're old or like way down the line, if ever at all. So, like the kinds of things that I personally wonder about are like, is the cynicism or the negativity that I express about the world infecting the music in such a way that that's all that a person listening to it is tasting when they digest it? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
The
I worry
answer
about
is, like it helped you in a moment when, like you needed music to lean on to, like help motivate you through this moment. And
I
that means
have
something. Mhm.
I worry about similar things like when I'm really going through it and I'm expressing how hurt I am, I'm like, fuck, am I just like bringing people down? Am I just like
Yeah,
a pit of negativity that's like bringing others down? Like, but another thing that helped me was the realization that people people have seen me really low, but if they see me heal, then that could help them too, you know? So
I dig that.
that's what that honestly is a big part of what drove me to check myself into the hospital recently. Um I spent I turned 26 on October 27th and I signed myself into the hospital on October 26th and spent my 26th birthday in the psych ward.
Mm.
And it was the best gift I could have given myself, is what I've been telling people. Because like I I I didn't even realize how much I needed that until I did it, you know?
I love that, man. I'm
Yeah.
happy that it was positive come for you, man. A turning
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. And this whole year has been crazy. It's been like so heavy for me. I don't know if it's
Me
just
too, bro.
yeah. Yeah, I thought it
I'm
was
with you
just
on
like,
that.
am I just at that age? Because I was 25 and I was like, I need 25 to be a turning point because like I don't want to just be how I am forever, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Nah, it's you won't be. I mean, like to sort of consciously uh like pick apart that question and like kind of says to me that you won't be in that space
mhm,
because like a lot of the a lot of or at least I'll speak for me, a lot of getting out of different spaces has been asking the right questions.
mhm,
When you ask the right question, and then you'll usually bump into some answers with enough asking, you'll bump into some questions that you're like, this is very inconsistent. It's
mhm.
inconsistent in a way that I can't ignore, and that'll lead you out,
Yeah,
of whatever the
yeah,
space is. And it may even lead you to, like some real aha moments, like, all of that questioning and going like, yo, what's wrong with me? Or what's like, why isn't this operating as intended or as I believe is should operate, and then you start peeling the layers back. And like as you kind of get into like, okay, now I went to get medical expert intervention with this. I compare this with, yeah, it's gonna be you got some lit years coming up. Some of these are
yeah,
gonna be pretty dope. Got some good
yeah.
ones coming up.
That's good to hear. Um, all right, yeah. Now we can get to the more random fun questions.
We gotta talk about Gold Leaf too, because
Oh
that's the
yeah,
only one we
okay.
left out.
Yeah,
That's
Gold
my
Leaf.
favorite song on the album.
Okay, you too. That's my favorite song too.
Yes.
Yeah. That song, the line about how I cut my tongue on this knife, connecting back
Yeah.
to that I don't know, is that a thing that wolves actually do, or is that like a theory?
I don't know. I heard it on Dead President's album. There's a
Okay.
clip where the gentleman is telling a story about a wolf. It actually sounds like a proverb that he was wielding, but the wolf is starved. The hunter to catch the wolves would uh like pour blood on the knife or something, or dip the knife in blood, like animal blood or whatever, and
Hmm.
stick it in the ice. And then the wolves would smell the blood and think that there was and they would lick the knife because there's blood on the knife. And in licking the knife, they would cut their tongue and they would bleed as they fed, and then
Yeah.
they would bleed out. And that's how they would get rid of it. So that, I was speaking to that level of survival of being in such a mindset and a spiritual place, like an all-encompassing place of survival that, like you kill yourself trying to get what you need, trying to get some like of this like crippling hunger
Hmm.
to like connect with something met, like you end up just like, dying to
I
live.
guess I guess the I forgot it was on that Dead Prez album. I guess that's where I heard it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an amazing like it's an amazing clip.
it is. Yeah. Um, but yeah, lyrically, Gold Leaf, not only lyrically, but just overall, the song felt like the perfect way to wrap the album up because
That was the
it
last
felt
song that we
yeah,
recorded.
that was the last one.
That was the
Yeah.
last one, yeah.
That one it felt very I guess climactic, or it just felt like it wrapped everything up like in a perfect bow, you know?
I think so too. Thank you. That one,
Yeah.
yeah, that one's like really one of my favorite Quandary beats probably ever. I don't know if I've told him that, but you know, he'll see it. He'll see this.
Mhm.
That's one of my favorite beats, yo.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so like, yeah, and it was the last song that we recorded for the album too, so it just all worked out.
Hmm.
It was one of those records that, yeah, man, that shit was hard to make, but it was when it was finished, it was finished.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
and
so
we can hop into fun questions with that.
yeah, so from 2018, when exactly was it finished?
It was finished probably in. Uh, See, I kind of don't like to. I'll tell you, but I kind of don't like to get into this part because I think there's an. I think there's a focus on when things were created that has the capacity to taint how people appreciate what they're hearing.
Yeah.
Like if I tell you that, like if I tell you that it was made 10 years ago, it wasn't. But if I tell you that it was 10 years ago and your mindset is like, that's some old shit, I want to hear, then you might not understand that. Like I included
Yeah.
it despite its age because I felt it was timeless. So it's 10 years from now, you still listen to it. And so like from that space, hopefully this answer won't like taint. But we probably finished it in like 2022,
Okay.
like when it was like fully mastered and we were like, okay, now we can show it to people.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mm,
I totally get what you're saying about that. But I will say, um I guess just personally I know that like things don't just come out as soon as they're finished, you know? 'Cause like
yeah.
I I guess I watch like a lot of conversations with artists, not as much as I used to, but I've seen how it can go. Like Samurai by Lupe Fiasco, that was made in 2022 as well, I believe. Um,
Oh yeah.
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 Or
Yes,
no,
but
that was
that's exactly
2021,
the
I think. Uh,
was it?
but yeah, something
Is
like
that the
that.
one that he was doing kind of like on live sometimes?
I think so,
Like
yeah.
he was doing it like in a week or in a couple of days.
That one was Drill Music in Zion, actually.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. But yeah, exactly though. Like it doesn't things don't come out immediately a lot of times when
Hmm.
you make them. And this was one of those things that didn't come out immediately, but in a way, it still came out on time. It's
Yeah,
weird.
definitely. Definitely, especially for me, because like I said, it came out during a very important time for me. Um,
Yeah.
and okay, yeah. So fun questions.
I really love that it was like important that it was something of comfort to you in a time of need.
Yeah, me
Like
too.
I really I really appreciate that. Like that my music meant something to in a
Yeah.
moment when something needed to mean something.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. It's an amazing album. I feel like I want to say no matter when I heard it, it would have really impacted me, but it definitely came out, or I at least I listened to it at a time when I it really needed to I needed to hear it, you know?
Love.
So yeah, on Instagram one time I posted a clip of me playing the theme song on piano from Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. And I asked people, "Do you recognize where this song is from?" And you were the person who got it. You were like, that's Metal Gear
Yeah.
Solid 2 Sons of Liberty." Um,
Yeah.
so I'm assuming you're really into Metal Gear Solid.
I'm reasonably into Metal Gear Solid, but I'm just a gaming ass nigga. I'm,
Okay.
I'm a gaming ass dude. So like Metal Gear Sons of Liberty is the only, make sure I'm right. Metal Gear Sons of Liberty is the only one that I completed.
Damn, okay. When you say
Yeah, Sons
completed, do
of
you mean
like I saw the
like
credits roll.
okay, yeah. I think me too, actually. No, no, I did four too, but yeah, two is my favorite. Two
Yeah,
is
two is fine. I might have to go through two again for the
do you
culture.
remember the way it ends? Like,
Uh, Kinda, but like I watch a lot of video essays too, and a lot of the guys sort of spin around the same topics around the same time, and Metal Gear Solid was sort of recently. Sons of
mhm,
Liberty and the series as a whole was sort of in that zeitgeist recently. So
yeah.
yeah, kind vaguely.
Okay, yeah. I just that game I was like 12 years old the first time I finished it and I played it I finished it at like 3 a.m. All the lights were off and the way that game ends is trippy as hell and it scared the fuck out of me because I was like this little ass kid just like not expecting what was about to happen and like when you find out oh I don't want to spoil it but yeah the ending is crazy. Um,
Well, if y'all haven't played it, yeah, play it,
yeah.
play it.
Just when you find out that the colonel you've been speaking to the whole time is an AI and that like he's been like manipulating you, that's when it that's when it freaked me out.
And now, yeah, like now we might be headed toward that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't exactly. I don't know. I'll reserve my thoughts because I don't really like I see what we're poking at, but
Hmm.
I don't necessarily believe.
That it's inevitable.
Yeah, in a way, or at least, like as immediate as the like temperature outside seems to think it is. Like
Yeah.
we still we still missing that that spark somehow that's getting us
Yeah.
through past like a that's getting us past like glorified chatbot territory.
Yeah. Um, okay, I have the next question is what is your favorite cartoon of all time?
Ever all time? Hmm. Probably Transformers, the original
Okay.
from the 80s.
I think did that used to there's so much that I don't even was that on Boomerang at one point a few years ago? Not a
I
few years
think
ago, but
so. I
I feel
think
like
so, but
I saw that on Boomerang.
If not Gen 1, they probably had some version of Transformers, they didn't had
Yeah.
Beast Wars, they didn't had everything, so
Yeah.
probably at some point. But yeah, like that first run of Transformers,
You're not the
flawed as it
first
may
person who's
be,
told me about Transformers. I should check that out.
you should. That's a
Yeah.
fact.
Um, and then last question. Do you have a favorite uh artist who does not make music? So like a visual artist.
Uh, hmm. No, not particularly,
Hmm.
honestly. No. Honestly, I should spend some more time on that side of the earth. But no,
Um,
I do not.
did uh did Dr. Quandary do the album cover? Okay, cool. Yeah, the album
Dr.
cover is really
Quandry's been
cool.
doing like just about all of my art, almost all of it
Oh, really?
since Hard Writer. Yeah,
That's awesome.
like he did Hard Writer, Take It Like It Is. He did Fleece. He did Live Nigga Prophecy.
Mm.
Yeah, he did all of that stuff, and he did this, of course, as well. Yeah.
Um, yeah, before we wrap up, I just want to give viewers a bit of my personal history with your music. Fleece was actually my introduction to your music. Um,
Hey,
and then
that's one of the ones that I like. That's one of my projects that I like.
that's good. Yeah, I love that one. Um, I remember that was also the first one I reviewed. Um, and I just remember like I think I was like I expected to like it to some extent, but I was like a little surprised by how much I ended up enjoying it. Because like
Nice.
I wasn't like I said, that was my introduction, so I was like, damn, like this
Nice.
guy's actually really good.
I appreciate that. That's
Yeah.
fire. That's
And then
fire. I wanted to do more like things like that, like more like, oh, here's a 3 pack, here's a 4 pack, here's
mhm.
fleece. I got the name for the next one.
Okay,
I
yeah.
want to I want to drop that early. Hopefully I get it off like early next year, but I might do something different. It might be a full length
Okay, I'm looking
before I do
forward to
that.
whatever comes next because
Yeah.
this album just solidified my fandom. This
Ah,
one's
love,
crazy. Yeah.
love. I appreciate that, man. I just want to get some traction going, man, with the
Hmm.
you know, having some hopefully I want to get some change going with my creative space. Like I kind of need to be creating in a different space, like physically,
Like
you know.
environment wise.
Yeah, like I need some warmer weather. I need some warmer tones.
Hmm.
I need some I need some maybe some windows or something like that. I need
Word.
some like physically like this is night it's like nicely lit and it's not a dungeon type time. Something like that. So yeah, like hopefully I can get that going soon.
Bet.
And then I can get some traction really going.
Hell yeah.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
the album's amazing. For viewers who haven't heard it yet, as Justin Hunt would
Resin.
say, punch yourself in the face if you haven't heard it yet. Um, Resin by The Fortunate Ones. Cop a cassette because these are nice as fuck.
And
Um,
they are much more limited than they seem.
oh, okay, yeah. Yeah,
This
I'm glad I
run
got one
these
then.
runner cassettes is super limited.
Yeah.
And so I don't even know that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that we're gonna do another cassette at all. If we do another cassette, like if the demand was there for another cassette, it wouldn't look like that at all.
Hmm.
So like it's up to you.
All right.
It's up to you.
Well, I'm just glad I got one because this is
That's
fire.
that sleeve is crazy out of
It
that.
really is. And this is Japanese is written in. Is that Japanese?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool as hell. Yeah.
I wish I had the hoodie. My hoodie didn't get here yet, but
The
I
Stay
wish I
Warm
had the
hoodie.
hoodie.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
those
Stay
are
Warm
nice
hoodie. It's
too.
it's fire. I'm gonna get me once I'm gonna rock me that in the video once I get it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there were a couple of videos for this album too, I saw. Yeah, I think I embedded them on my review. If not, I'll have to edit those in. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, we had one for Carcass for
okay.
Varnish.
Right,
And it's
right,
like
right.
it's kind of like you kind of gotta see it. It's like
Okay.
it sort of like follows the like it all ties in with the tape and like everything sort of ties in a certain type of way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me for this conversation. I really enjoyed this. This was
Me too,
a
man.
blast to talk about. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Um,
man. I gotta holler at you on the next one.
yeah, that'll be great. I look forward to whatever comes next. Yeah. So for viewers, check the album out, share this interview, let me know what you think of the album.
Yeah,
Cop a
man.
cassette
Definitely,
if
definitely
they haven't
check the
sold out
album
yet.
out. Share it. Share this episode.
Yeah,
Share the album.
absolutely.
Share the podcast. Share the website.
Thank you. And that's it. Legalize it, don't demonize it. Stay focused, my brothers and sisters. And as always, peace out.
It's totally surreal.